unfortunately, we have someone that is occupying the White House. And as far as I'm concerned, he is an enemy to the United States.
She lies, but she's a lowlife. And she's a very low IQ person and a lowlife. And I don't imagine the Democrats are going to have a person like that running their party. If they do, they'll never win an election again.
Trump just had a complete meltdown after Representative Jasmine Crockett torched his record, dragged JD Vance, and questioned his wild mental state. Trump went off the rails. Her takedown was brutal. She called out the GOP's collapse into chaos, the billionaire-friendly policies, and the lies that still cost lives. In response, Trump melted down on camera. Stay tuned for the shocking moment President Trump snapped on air.
Y'all know we got Governor High Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
The rivalry between Representative Jasmine Crockett and Donald Trump has been building for months, and now it's become one of the most intense feuds in the country. Crockett, a freshman Democrat from Texas and former civil rights attorney, has quickly made a name for herself with savage insults of GOP leadership. She's known for being brutal, hitting hard, and refusing to back down. And that's exactly what put her on a collision course with Trump.
We have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States.
What sent Crockett into a fury was the infamous high-stakes Oval Office meeting with President Zelensky. It was a moment that went viral, Trump ranting about World War III, JD Vance backing him up, and both of them publicly shaming Zelensky for not being grateful enough for U.S. support. What was supposed to be a normal sit-down meeting turned into a global embarrassment.
Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
The meeting made headlines around the world, and Crockett didn't waste a moment to clap back. She went on a rampage, calling the entire situation disgraceful. She labeled Trump and Vance bullies, slammed Trump's past as a draft dodger, and said he was once again cozying up to dictators while tearing down allies. In her words, it wasn't just bad leadership, it was dangerous. This wasn't a one-off moment. Crockett has repeatedly accused Trump of undermining U.S. credibility abroad and turning politics into a circus. She's called him a divider-in-chief, a thug, and even an enemy to the United States. She's also gone after JD Vance hard, mocking his public statements, slamming his embrace of far-right viewpoints, and painting him as completely disconnected from everyday Americans. She's tied him directly to what she sees as the GOP's collapse into extremism and chaos. Crockett has positioned herself as one of the few Democrats willing to call out Trump and Vance directly and without filters. Her takedowns have turned her into a rising voice on the left and a major threat to the right.
Yeah, but it should have ended with Zelensky snatching his wig. That would have been appropriate. Yeah.
If Trump is bad cop, who was in there playing good cop?
There wasn't one.
But now, Crockett's taking it to a whole new level. She's not just calling Trump a bully anymore. She's questioning whether he's mentally fit to be president. In a series of new scathing interviews, Crockett has slated Trump's behavior, calling it beyond wild, that no one is seriously questioning his grip on reality. She says Trump's decisions, especially his economic ones, aren't just reckless, they're dangerous.
Like, the fact that no one is questioning his mental acuity or fitness to serve is beyond wild to me, right?
Her biggest warning is that Trump's return feels like deja vu. Market swings, trade wars, chaos, and once again, regular people are the ones paying the price. She took a jab at the old Sleepy Joe nickname too, flipping it on its head, saying that under Biden, at least Americans could sleep at night. Under Trump, it's financial havoc, endless uncertainty, and fear over what he'll do next.
Like, the fact that they sat around, called Joe Biden Sleepy Joe Biden, and as I said before, at least you could sleep at night because you didn't have to worry about your 401k disappearing overnight. You didn't have to worry about these allegations of fake invasions.
And Crockett's not buying the business genius spin. She's accused Trump of tanking the economy on purpose, calling it a fire sale for billionaires, According to her, it's a setup. Crash the system, then let his rich friends, and maybe even himself, scoop up everything cheap while working families get crushed by rising costs.
We're going to be the ones that are suffering. And for those that thought that inflation was bad, even though it has come down, even though that it is honestly, cooled off here a lot quicker than it cooled off in the rest of the world, let me just tell you, it's time to buckle up, Buttercup, because it is about to be on and popping.
Crockett's also going hard on Trump's alliance with Elon Musk. The two have been pushing major cuts to the federal workforce, gutting essential services, and laying off thousands. Crockett has called their agenda cruel, cold, and dangerous. She even warned Musk publicly, making it clear she's not here to play nice. And while Trump likes to talk about running the government like a business, Crockett's pointing to his bankruptcies, Musk's collapsing companies, and asking, why are we handing the country over to men who can't even manage their own mess? She's also thrown down the gauntlet on how Trump handled the aftermath of COVID. Not just the botched response, but the way his inner circle cashed in on it. She's accused Trump's allies of profiting off disaster, calling it a pay-to-play operation, where public suffering turned into private wealth.
Having a leader suggest that we should inject bleach. Are you aware of anyone being cured of COVID-19 because they injected bleach into their body?
I am unaware of any such thing.
For Crockett, this isn't about politics, it's about survival. She's painting Trump as unstable, self-serving, and flat-out unfit to lead. And she's daring the media and the public to finally stop pretending otherwise.
We've heard a lot about the fact that Democrats have been talking about Elon Musk. And let me give you a news alert. We're not gonna stop talking about him. We're gonna keep talking about him until he is out of here.
Now let's get into Trump's brutal response to Crockett's jabs. At a high-profile appearance during the National Republican Congressional Committee dinner, he took the chance to directly attack her credibility. In front of a room full of elite Republicans, Trump roasted Crockett.
How about this new one they have, their new star, Crockett? How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble.
This wasn't just a dig at Crockett. It was part of a bigger story. Trump used the moment to frame her as a symbol of what he calls a collapsing Democratic Party. He claims Democrats have taken a lot of beatings, lost their confidence, and are now so directionless, they're putting their hopes in someone he clearly doesn't take seriously. According to Trump, Crockett is a lowlife and someone who the Republicans are using out of desperation.
They're really looking back. And, I said before, the Democrats have taken a lot of beatings. They have lost their confidence. They've gone crazy. They've gone crazy.
Still, while Trump had plenty to say about her status, he carefully avoided talking about the substance of her attacks. Instead, he went after her image, claiming she's just a distraction and more focused on going viral than on doing the real work of leadership. It echoed what some on the right have been saying for months, that Crockett is more of a media figure than a policymaker. By doing this, Trump made a strategic choice. Rather than defend himself against her most damaging claims, he shifted the topic completely, turning Crockett into a character, a symbol of what he says is wrong with her party. He didn't rebut her points, he just made her out to be irrelevant. It's a tactic he's used before. Diminish the critic, and you avoid addressing the criticism. But this time, it feels different. This wasn't just about one comment. This was a public, deliberate effort to undermine a voice that's clearly starting to cut through. Trump may not say it directly, but his actions make it clear. He sees Jasmine Crockett as a threat worth neutralizing, and he's not waiting around to see how far her message goes.
I mean, this is Crockett. Oh man. But we've done a job, but they've totally lost their confidence. And it's a hard thing when you lose your confidence, but they've taken a lot of beatings, and now they're going to rely on Crockett to bring them back. Crockett's going to bring them back.
But it's not only Trump Crockett's coming for. She's also taken aim at Vice President JD Vance. In her public appearances and interviews, Crockett has zeroed in on what she calls Vance's lack of integrity and complete absence of principle. Her main point is that JD Vance will say anything, believe anything, and support anything if it helps him climb the political ladder. Crockett has called out Vance's dramatic political transformation, from a vocal Trump hater to one of Trump's most loyal defenders. She's pointed to his past statements where he called Trump reprehensible and even warned that Trump could become America's Hitler. Now, he's Trump's running mate.
And so one of the takeaways is not just that the Republican Party base is somehow fundamentally flawed in a way that's unique. in American political history. It's that Trump is a really bad candidate, and frankly, I think a really bad person.
For Crockett, this shift says everything about Vance's character. She's accused him of having no core values or stable social identity, saying he's someone who just wants someone, anyone, to like him. Her message is simple. Vance doesn't stand for anything. He stands for whoever holds power. Crockett's also called out Vance's whole story around family values, especially his controversial comments about childless leaders. Crockett thinks that this whole viewpoint is hypocritical and illogical, asking if, by his standards, even nuns wouldn't be qualified to teach children. To her, Vance's views aren't just extreme, they're out of touch.
The guy is a weirdo. It's really quite simple.
Crockett has tied these statements to what she says is the GOP's growing extremism, linking Vance directly to far-right plans like Project 2025, a playbook that would give the president more power, cut worker protections, and completely reform how the government works. She's exposed Vance's role in what she calls a dangerous agenda that threatens democracy and working Americans. What's more, Crockett's not buying the idea that Vance's embrace of Trump is genuine. To her, it's a strategy. She's described it as a calculated pivot from someone who once claimed to stand on principle, only to trade it all for power.
But we also know that they have been pushing the Project 2025 agenda, and a lot of that agenda kind of has their own definition of what Christianity looks like and what Christian families look like and what we all should be doing. And I don't think that that's inclusive of Catholicism and the Muslim folk, as well as atheist folk, everybody else, even though we supposedly have this thing called freedom of religion in this country.
By going after Vance this directly and this aggressively, Crockett is doing more than throwing punches. She's aiming to unravel the credibility of the entire Trump-Vance ticket. Her message is clear. If Vance can betray his own beliefs this easily, what won't he betray next?
JD Vance, I think, has shown us that he's someone who basically will do what he needs to do to gain power or to stay in power. And in many ways, that's the scariest thing of all. A few years ago, you called it out. He said what he said about Trump. He said he mused that he was America's next Hitler. Now all he does is sing his praises.
Jasmine Crockett is out for blood, and the impact is starting to show. With every explosive interview, she's chipping away at the image Trump and JD Vance have spent years crafting. She's going after the two most powerful Republicans in America without flinching. While others tiptoe around Trump and Vance, Crockett is swinging for the jugular. Trump may laugh her off, Vance may hide and say nothing, but neither has directly answered her toughest accusations. And that silence? It speaks volumes. So here's the real question. Is Jasmine Crockett reshaping the conversation around the GOP, or will they crush her before she gets the chance? One thing's for sure, this isn't over.
I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship. I think all Americans may feel like we're in an abusive relationship.
There are deeper implications if we go down this rabbit hole. Imagine the type of world where the president does whatever he wants to and no one can rein him in. It's a world that right now many people are afraid of.
What are your thoughts? Do you think Trump is mentally fit to lead the country, or has he completely lost it? Is JD Vance a political sellout, or just playing the game smarter than everyone else? Is Jasmine Crockett the new face of fearless leadership, or just stirring the pot for clout? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our deep dives into today's most controversial issues. And if you're ready for more, make sure you click the next video on your screen.